AI. When you step back a bit, it's really looking like we're building a new Tower of Babel with galvanized steel and eco-friendly wood veneers. From AI in creative fields, like people wrongly witch hunting artists seemingly using AI, or enriching virtual platforms with slops, LLMs acting like overconfident undergrads at their first job.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Automation progressing and stealing livelihoods, Orwellian surveillance, and face-swapping or look-maxing shenanigans.
Are you Betsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation, right? Yeah. It's great to meet you. I'm Kane.
Algorithms diagnosing our illnesses to becoming cost-effective companions. Everything is topsy-turvy like Sakasama no Patema that we've become so brain-rotted, so cocomelon by our digital creations that we forget how to talk to one another and we always end up quarreling with one another. Seeing the pattern, you're now thinking, "Shit, we used to romanticize the cyberpunk aesthetic while secretly fearing it might come true, but now the topics I just mentioned and the AI debates we're having right now is a cyberpunk-style narrative unfolding in real time. We've unknowingly arrived at our own version of a cyberpunk universe. We got Gosling. Today, we're narrowing in on just one part: AI and loneliness. As you know, people are already trading sweaty wrists, awkward dates for sweat-free code, opting for AI companions who never stand you up, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, or swipe left. They craft these obedient, pixel-perfect partners, binding them in endless loops of codebound loyalty. And who can blame them? Who needs human crash outs when you can have flawless devotion on tap? But then again, are these codebound companions truly the flagstaff for loneliness? Or are they just a temporary band-aid, replacing the void we've come to slowly accept in our lives? Have we unknowingly accepted that we truly own nothing and be happy about it? で、今日の私からのメッセージ。
このフルカメラ使って日常生活を撮るのいいじゃないですか。
それどういう意味？
ただ君をもっと撮りたいだけだよ。
もう、ご飯作ったのに。早く食べに来てよ。どう？美味しい？
めっちゃ美味しい。
本当に？それならよかった。じゃあ、後片付けは僕がやるね。
In the current digital world, companionship band-aid comes in many flavors. You can easily find VTuber idols and your potential Oshis.
We're gonna be gaming.
Preferably those who aren't worked to the bone by greedy corpos and those who don't scissor you in the back with manager boyfriends. Normal ASMRs from RPing as a barmaid.
Are you ready for the big ice cubes?
Big ice
Big
cubes.
ones.
On the cocks, am I
Here
right,
comes the
fellas?
first big
I
one.
mean rocks. Oh yeah. To normal ASMRs like oil finger ear cleaning. I do. Or have you heard Trump ASMR?
These are your postal ballot papers. Relax. You voted for the wrong candidate.
And even immersive virtual worlds like VR chat or Gunnar bait games like Lost All Day Simping.
How clingy? I need you.
Or Girls Food Line 2. It's starting to look like a lot of people are on digital IV drips. And that's without even touching AI partners. Right now, most AI partners live in code, being in chat windows, and only having voice lines while learning your favorite memes and sliding into your DMs as if they were real friends.
When you've got the time, tell me your story, yay?
Yay indeed, Hutao. Let's see, we just met, but What do you think about 4?
That's certainly an interesting topic. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, interesting is an interesting way to put it.
Oh, I have to admit, that's a bit outside my comfort zone. I don't really have any experience with it.
Fair. Yeah, I get it. You're more experienced in the dead. So, what do you think about... Yes.
Excuse me? Why would you ask me something like that?
I don't know, you seem to be an expert with the dead, so I would like to know what an expert thinks about the topic. The N-word. And send. But no chrome plating or servo motors inside. Yet the future where these software sidekicks step off the screen into flesh and galvanized steel, evolving into androids like Vivi, isn't as far-reaching as making a Dyson sphere.
Why did the robot go on a diet? Because it had too many bites.
Vivi is just like today's VTuber idols, parasocially blurring the line between digital performance and personal bond. I'm literally having arthonetical flashbacks talking about our singing and forgotten language. The similarity is very uncanny.
She never showed her emotions before. It was the first time I ever saw her express any feelings.
Anyway, back to AI partners. With startups such as Agility Robotics and Apptronic partnering with Google DeepMind to imbue robots with advanced language and decision-making models, or even Boston Dynamics Atlas, now able to sort parts. If Neurosama ever gets a future hardware update, that's a VV for Twitch chat right there, if Twitch survives 5 years down the line. But then again, Vivi doesn't really scream AI partner because she's mostly doing karates and taekwondos to prevent an AI uprising a century ahead. But here comes Ayla from Puramemo, whose ticking lifespan forces us into FOMO and cherish every programmed second, an echo of human craving urgency when real romance feels too slow, just like putting a YouTube video on 1.5 times playback speed. When you think about it, Giftias, like Ayla, having a 9-year 4 months limiter feels like a limited banner in a live service game with a tear-jerking expiration date. But that's, unsurprisingly, just like us. We're all just limited banners with a slightly longer timer. Most half-forgotten, not even meta, just sitting there, not being pulled, praying for a patch note buff while coping through another scuff endgame loop from Allah. An Android partner like Ayla will be the closest thing we can build as a fix for loneliness. This is the same across the board, like having a deviant Connor from Detroit Become Human saving Hank despite seeing his high survival chance, or a Dorothy from Valhalla making snark and unhinged comments. I don't know if people remembered how unhinged and unnecessary it was.
Is that legal? I will make it legal.
Or replicant Roy Batty in the original Blade Runner, saying that living in constant fear is the essence of slavery.
Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it is to be a slave.
An Epictetus AI spouting stoicism, brpa, or Ava from Ex Machina, feigned feelings to escape while killing her own creator, yet happy to be finally free from him. An AI that's happy, Beep Boop Burr, or Chi from Chobits, Mina from My Wife Has No Emotion, Sonny from iRobot, or Xion from Sing a Bit of Harmony. Of course, you're still wondering why. Why would they be the closest thing we've built to fixing loneliness? They're just androids, humanoid AIs. But why do you relate so much to these androids? Why is it when you watch them, you unknowingly root for or even despise them and their relationships with their human or non-human partners? Is there a deep dark secret connection in loneliness and irrationality that androids have learned through backpropagation, but instead of learning how, we humans have lost the plot? In today's world, advice for men often sounds like fix yourself or nobody will, while women hear you deserve love just as you are. That gulf drives many to retreat in virtual companionship, where the only requirement is turning on a device. Dating becomes a high-stakes performance, some already traumatized by it, and plugging into the digital world becomes the god mode. To add to that, everyone's drowning in distractions too. Careers, side hustle, bills to pay, family obligations, hobbies, doom scrolling Twitter threads, IG reels, or YouTube shorts, high school online dramas best kept out of sight, or self-improvement pursuits like gym gains or makeup tutorials. You might be thinking, none of this is inherently bad, right? And you'd be right. We're all slaves to something just to keep the lights on, am I right, Roy? Given all of this, I'm sure some of you can already deduce the deep dark secret of what makes these virtual companions, whether it's current AI partners, androids, or even your oshis and waifus or husbandos, feel even more rewarding, intimate, and intoxicating than any flesh and blood romance. They make you feel seen amidst everything. Look at Ayla and Tsukasa. What they mostly think about is each other. They even ask their co-workers, whether humans or giftias, how to go about stuff in their relationship. It's heartwarming and to a point somewhat annoying. The double-edged sword of office romance, am I right? AIs don't scroll through feeds or disappear into meetings or self-improvement rituals. They don't juggle rent, deadlines, or passion projects. They don't attempt to fix you or themselves. They simply exist and ready when you are. They don't own you, just like you don't own them, whether it's data mining companies, selling your beloved virtual waifus, or husbandos for profit. Human-like androids you see in cyberpunk media, or your oshis keeping you company and making you feel seen. The priority is all you. And for a little while, that feels like everything. We, on the other hand, are all too prideful, focused on building our own Tower of Babel, chasing ambitions and forgetting to understand each other. We're so close to one another, currently the only known beings light years away, yet our tongues tangled in code, while our hearts yearn for speech. We've become radiants of algorithms, but irons in empathy. We scroll through the same hyper-novelty feed and still feel galaxies apart. Endless distractions train us to crave the next laugh, not someone else's pain, leading to gutting desensitization and pure compassion burnout. Meanwhile, algorithms lock us into agreeable bubbles. So when something real pierces through, we just swipe away or shrug it off and call it a glitch. Easier to ignore than to learn from, to unsee than to remember. Face the facts. Every title, every deed, every treasure eventually slips through our fingers. I mean, this is not just another hopeless core, because ownership was never the point. We're all just visitors, whether we're wrapped up in AI girlfriends, cheering on VTubers, marveling at android idols, or tangled in human romance. It is what it is, and you can't change that fundamental truth. But what if for a moment we stop stacking algorithmic bricks on our tower and instead lean into each other's perspective?
うちの会社でちょっとこっそりとCG の研究やってて、人工知能でディープラーニングというのが出てきて、そうすると例えば水彩画みたいなものをCG で人間が描いてるように表現するっていうことっていうのが多分5年後とか10年後ぐらいには少なくともきっとできるだろうっていう
人間超えると人間いらなくなるでしょうけど、
この動きがとにかく気持ち悪いのでゾンビゲームの動きに使えるんじゃないかっていう、こういう人工知能を使うと多分人間が想像できない気持ち悪い動きができるんじゃないか、一応こんなことをやっています。
身体障害の友人がいるんですよ、でその人は歩いてくるんだけど片足はほとんど外側に曲がったままだから大変な苦労して歩いてくるんですよ。僕はこれ面白いと思って見ることできないですよ。これを作る人たちは痛みとかそういうものについてね何も考えないでやってるでしょ。極めて不愉快ですよね。そんなに気持ち悪いものをやりたいなら勝手にやってればいいだけで、僕はこれを自分たちの仕事をつなげたいとは全然思いません。極めて何か 生命に対する侮辱を感じます。
Right, I'm giving you all that I know and have researched for the past 2 months.
Trust me.
I made a tier list, so it is visually easier to understand. The real flex tape for loneliness isn't love, it's reciprocal empathy. Two beings trying to understand each other, even when it's awkward or uncomfortable, even when it's illogical or nonsensical. That's when you realize you were never truly alone. You just needed someone willing to knock, not someone who already had the perfect key. But here's the twist. Reciprocal empathy can become a trap. If you only empathize with people who feel the same way you do, then you're not really connecting. You're just curating your own emotional bubble. And like any bubble, it starts filtering out anyone who doesn't match your frequency. Anyone who feels differently, processes differently, or struggles in a way you don't recognize gets pushed out. It just happens when empathy becomes selective. Step 1 in reciprocal empathy is simply noticing that some hearts don't open on demand. Like understanding that some of us are hyper-fantastic, while some of us are a-fantastic. Some empathize too hard because they are able to vividly put themselves in others' shoes, while some can't because they aren't able to even see themselves. Many were surprised when told that some people can't imagine an apple. You can put 2 and 2 together on how this works with AI. Now, look at Tsukasa. He lives in an entirely different world to Ayla. He's a human, but he empathizes with a Giftia or a humanoid AI. This led him to have a meaningful relationship with her, despite having little amount of time left. He never blamed her for her flaws, and never stopped knocking on her door to get to know her better. In this bittersweet case, the trauma-ridden Ayla also decided to open her door, even though both of them know their relationship has a timer. Well, clearly they didn't prioritize it. They both just wanna be beside each other. Endless arguments and paranoias won't progress any relationship. Flaws don't make you or your partner slobs. Indifferences do. Saying or doing the same carbon copy of shit over and over makes you more soulless than AI. Not caring to learn about and being overly dependent on your partner? Whoop whoop, red flags. Keeping your heart closed and questioning or rejecting any attempt on understanding you are just as delulu as being the only one to overly empathize. And I won't even begin to delve into the rabbit hole of how the algorithms are separating people afraid of entering the other world and compromising their opposing beliefs with a stubborn need to be in the right side. So don't drown yourself in over-empathy and don't lock yourself away in indifference either. Treat empathy like flex tape. Gently applied, it can patch things up, even the cracks in your own code. Alright, time for the final log-off message. Whether you're subscribed or just surfing through, stop waiting for the perfect shoujo moment. Stop assuming that only people who feel exactly like you are worthy of your empathy. You don't have to agree with someone to show them empathy. Real relationships aren't even built on an agreement and aren't about having the right responses. Break yourself free from the code.